Hello, my name is Jason Lazarus, founder of Synergy. With me is Jasmine Patel, one of Synergy's lien resolution subject matter experts. Jasmine has deep expertise in the area of Medicare conditional payment resolution. She recently got a $173,000 conditional payment reduced to zero using the appeals process. Her stats from the last 2 years are equally impressive, having resolved over 700 liens and saving injured parties over 12 million in the process. Jasmine, how likely is it to get Medicare to issue a refund using the compromise and waiver processes? Because many lawyers seem to be surprised when I give them stats like this year so far. We've saved clients over $2.3 million with an average refund of 32,000 and a 70% success rate.
Yeah, so the short answer is definitely it depends on a lot of factors, but there are key things and indicators to look at when evaluating if your case would be a good candidate. Definitely the first thing to note is that a waiver and a compromise are two separate requests that Medicare allows someone to file. The financial hardship waiver is the first one, and that mainly looks into your client's financial situation. Medicare has the injured party fill out it's about a 14-page SSA form, which details the financial situation in depth. It goes through, what assets you have, your income, how much is in your savings, your monthly expenses. It kind of takes a look at all of these key factors, whether you own properties, if you own your vehicle, things like that. Medicare has you fill out this very detailed form to see if the injured party would qualify for a financial hardship waiver. Definitely something to note with that is if filling out this form and disclosing certain financial information doesn't show financial hardship, that's typically not something we would recommend because that's definitely a key factor Medicare is going to look at when determining if someone would qualify for a financial hardship waiver. If, say, there is no financial hardship, that's typically when we recommend the compromise approach. And for that, the reason it's better is because you don't have to fill out that SSA form. So you're not really disclosing any of your financial situation. And that is more kind of pleading with Medicare as to why they should compromise the final demand amount based on other factors, such as hardship factors. And another thing, I guess, that would be important to take note of is that Medicare is going to look at the percentage that the final demand is taking from the net settlement. So if the final demand only accounts for a small percentage of the net settlement, it's typically not something that Medicare is going to agree to further waive or reduce their final demand. Whereas what we've seen is situations where Medicare's taking the majority of the settlement. That's typically a situation in which Medicare is going to agree for a further reduction. Another thing that's important to note is if the injured party's deceased and they don't have a surviving spouse or minor children, that's something Medicare is not going to grant a waiver or compromise for. They want to see that either the person's still living or that they do have a surviving spouse, to where if they were to agree to waive or compromise, that money would be going back to that individual. So there are a couple of different factors definitely that Medicare takes note of when reviewing these waiver and compromise requests. You can file both. So just say your financial hardship waiver was denied, it doesn't then take the compromise option off the table. You can definitely still file a compromise request. Another thing to note is the financial hardship waiver is appealable. So if you come back with a decision that is unfavorable, Medicare does allow you to appeal that decision up to 2 levels, which is good. The compromise request is not appealable, so that decision kind of just stands as is. But yeah, those are really the main things that Medicare considers when considering to waive or compromise the final demand.
Some great pieces of information and reasons why to turn to Synergy when you have a client who needs a Medicare compromise or waiver request. I know typically we do recommend paying the final demand so that it stops the interest from accruing, and then ultimately, if successful with a compromise or waiver request, the Medicare issues a refund. So important for firms that are working with us to understand that typically that's the process. But if you want to save your firm time and money, consider partnering with Synergy by outsourcing lien resolution to the experts and putting someone like Jasmine to work for your clients.